everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2021 action film Vanquish, a film that stars Ruby Rose, Morgan Freeman and Patrick Muldoon. And it is co-written and directed by George Gallo. Now this film focuses on Ruby Rose's character, who is a former drug runner and courier for the Russian mob, I think it is. And she is currently working for Morgan Freeman's character, who is an ex-super cop sort of thing, who ends up getting injured and put in a wheelchair. But he is essentially like a crime boss now, I think it's fair to say. So she's working for him, but not as like a courier or as a bodyguard or anything like that. And Ruby Rose has got a daughter who is got some kind of mystery illness. Now, this one fateful night, Morgan Freeman asks this favour from Ruby Rose's character, Victoria, and he wants her to do 5 pickups at 5 different locations, and it's like different mob bosses around the city, and to collect money that they essentially owe Morgan Freeman. She initially refuses, however, her daughter is taken hostage, and she has given no choice. Then she has to do this job for Morgan Freeman, and as you could imagine, these pickups don't go particularly well. Right, so what are my thoughts on this film? Well, it's not a good action film. It's really that simple. It's in any way is this film different or unique from any other action film you've ever seen. This is never going to compete with, the big budget action films out there. It's not meant to, really. It's not a big budget action film. But the story has been done so many times before. In fact, just recently, I think it was just last year, I reviewed a Scott Adkins film called Seized. Very, very similar concept, and that film is infinitely better than this one. And that's not a brilliant film, but it's far more entertaining than this one. The trouble with this one is its setup is poor. We're meant to buy this trusting relationship between Morgan Freeman and Ruby Rose, but the relationship is not established in any way. We just know she works for him. We see her doing a bit of cooking for him. Well, a bit. But we kind of get the message that he knows her and her daughter reasonably well. But that's it. We don't really know much else or learn much else. And we're supposed to buy this relationship. And then her hurt when he kind of, stabs her in the back and takes her daughter hostage. Didn't buy that emotional kick or anything. And also, there is no relationship development between Ruby Rose and her daughter. We see them at the beginning, barely interacting, holding her daughter's hand, and we learn that the daughter's got this mystery illness, of course. That's it. So we don't see anything of this bond, or any that we're supposed to buy, you know what I mean? This need for her to do this job to get her daughter back, not because Morgan Freeman wants her to do it. That just didn't land at all. And then we've got the middle of the road, bland, repetitive action scenes. Now, essentially, she's got to go to these 5 different locations to do these 5 different pickups. It's essentially the same thing over and over again. It's just different gangsters every time she goes. And of course, every time she goes, it goes tits up at every location. It's not a simple, oh, there's that bag of money, can I have it please? It's for Morgan Freeman. You owe it him, don't you? Right, thank you, I'm off then. No, every single location ends in a gunfight or something like that. And it's just dull, because it's the same thing every time. And then you get sometimes they try to ramp it up the action by giving you these substandard chase scenes with her on a motorbike. And it's the kind of film as well that has Ruby Rose with double handguns strapped to her back, completely visible as she's cycling through the city. are we meant to believe that there are no CCTV cameras in this city, that there are no cops on patrol that would spot a motorcyclist driving around the city with twin guns strapped to their back? There is no police presence in this film at all. Not just because of that, but everything that goes off at all these locations, it's like war is taking place, and you never see any real police presence. Now, cynics out there could argue that that is because of this. There is a subplot in this film of corrupt police to do with Morgan Freeman's character that isn't explored in any way, is incredibly confusing, and it's not needed in the film. You didn't need it at all, but they kind of ham-fisted this extra plot line in there that just added real confusion to the film. And then let's get on to the subject of Ruby Rose. Now, I think there is potential with Ruby Rose. She just keeps choosing terrible projects. Batman, the Batwoman TV show, obviously. A film I reviewed a couple of weeks ago that has completely gone from my mind now, that SAS film, that was shockingly pretty bad. And this, there is so much evidence out there of badass female action stars. Charlize Theron, the Old Guard, Atomic Blonde, Sigourney Weaver, the Aliens franchise, Linda Hamilton, Terminator, Scarlett Johansson kicking ass in the Marvel films. There is scope out there for badass female leads in action films, and I don't buy Ruby Rose. It just doesn't work, and I don't know if it's her lack of physical presence or her lack of emotional presence, because I don't buy either of them, her acting ability and the physical stuff that she does. But there is definitely something there. I just think she needs to focus on the right projects. The Meg was the right project. John Wick 2 was the right project. Focus on that sort of stuff, Ruby Rose, and maybe you'll find your niche, because trying to sell us Ruby Rose as this badass action stars in substandard action movies is not going to win anybody over, because this is not a good action film. It's dull, it's predictable, the action scenes are not done well, the story's terrible, the dialogue's terrible, the script is pretty bad, and it's one of those you scratch your head and think, what on earth is Morgan Freeman doing in this film? So from my perspective, it's a big fat 3 out of 10. It was not an enjoyable watch, unfortunately. So yeah, that's my review for Vanquish. One to avoid, action fans out there. This is not going to fill the void before, the next great action film or John Wick 4 or whatever it is you're looking forward to. It's not an enjoyable one, this one, unfortunately, guys. So thanks for watching. I hope you like this review. Of course I will be back with plenty more reviews on the channel very, very soon.